Golazo Network. Well, right now we are so excited to bring in a guy who will be featuring for FC Cincinnati star striker Brandon Vazquez. Brandon, great to see you this morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
We are doing just great. Very excited to watch you guys in US Open Cup tomorrow. You have won this tournament before with Atlanta United. What is your take from a player's perspective? What are your thoughts on the US Open Cup in this competition?
Yeah, I think thinking back to that tournament that we won with Atlanta, every tournament's important. You know, every game we step onto the field is important, and every player that comes on is expected to do their part. And of course, this is just another moment to be able to win a trophy for the club. So everybody is taking this as serious as possible, for sure.
Brandon, I'd like to know how it is for you as a striker. You had formed a fantastic partnership with Brenner. You had 18 goals last year. Now he's leaving. Sergio Santos, who had been there, kind of a substitute. How has it been finding a rhythm with him? Because it feels like that's still a work in progress, so that you're kind of well informed of where you got to be in the box and how you guys work together and play off each other.
Yeah, you know, that's a good question. Like you said, it's still a work in progress, of course. The chemistry is getting built every day here in the training pitch. And, you know, Sergio is a different kind of player than Brenner. You know, he's just a force of nature, and you know, we've all seen him. He can score goals, and he can run through the defense. So it's nice playing with him, but yeah, for sure, still a work in progress. We're still building that chemistry up.
Brandon, look, full disclosure, I'm an NYCFC season ticket holder. So my question for you is, how are you guys going to line up? What do you think you're going to use to try to beat NYCFC? Anything you can give me right now that I can tell the team?
Nothing we can give you right now. But, you know, I think all I can say is we're coming out to win this thing.
Okay. Can you guys eat some Skyline chili before the game, please? Just eat as much Skyline chili as you possibly can.
I don't think that'd be too good for me.
Bro, you saw his face. We're gonna come out and win. He stared you down.
I know.
I actually have a
it.
follow-up. Brendan, you've had, this has nothing to do with NYCFC, but there's been a lot of talk on the men's national team about needing a big guy up front. What are your thoughts on that? Where do you think you play? What role do you think you play in the potential future there, if you decide?
Yeah, of course. You know, I would say just my strengths. You know, like you said, my hold to play is really good. I'm a big target forward, so I think that's something I can bring to the team. And of course, my movements in the box and getting on the end of headers and stuff, I would say I'm pretty good at it as well. So. Yeah, that's something I can bring to the team.
Pretty good. Yeah, he's okay. 18 goals last year for FC Cincinnati. He's all right.
And the goal on your debut for the U.S. men's national team. That 2023 is bringing good stuff. How'd that feel?
Yeah, I mean, that was an incredible moment for me. You know, I've been dreaming about making my debut for the senior national team for a really, really long time. So for that moment to be there and to be able to play almost in my hometown in LA, and have my family there for it, and then obviously score on my debut. It was an incredible feeling, and yeah, we ended up losing that game, but on the personal level, it was satisfying for me, for sure.
The jersey looked good on you, so congratulations.
For sure.
But
This is no tampering. You can't tamper, right?
No,
there's no tampering.
there's no
rules
tampering
in
here.
international soccer.
but I bring it back to Brenner leaving. I'm sure, you know, we've talked about it before, your ambition to play overseas. You scored 18 goals last year. There's a number of clubs in Europe that are circling around your name. How do you stay in the moment and focused, knowing that potentially you could be leaving this summer if things work out?
Yeah, you know, that's a difficult one because there's a lot of things that are just out of my control, you know. All I can really focus on is working to get better every day and performing every time I step onto the pitch. So that's all I can really focus on as of now. If it's meant to be, it'll happen.
Brandon, I mean, Charlie went there a little bit. I'm going to fully go there. Obviously, you've been flirted with Mexican national team, U.S. men's national team. I kind of want to get a sense of Brandon Vazquez, the person first, and before we get into the player. What's it like at home? Your parents are from Guadalajara. How much of a Mexican culture did you grow up in? I mean, in Miami, in where I grew up, my dad's Argentinian, my mom's Honduran. We spoke Spanish at home, but I feel American. You must be having, that same feeling that you're being pulled from both sides. What's it like at home?
Yeah, I mean, at home, I'm fully supported with my decisions. I think, I grew up in a household where we only spoke Spanish. Every dish we were eating was what my mom grew up eating in Mexico. So,
what's your mom's best dish?
That's a good one. I really like her albóndiga soup. So it's like a meatball soup that she would make.
Albóndiga soup. I need some, Mama Vazquez.
Yeah, yo quiero comer. Yo quiero comer
She
soup,
was
bro.
she was really good at that. But yeah, I grew up also playing in the U.S. youth national team, and so it's kind of been one of those things where, I grew up in a Mexican household, but I grew up in the U.S. in a U.S. environment. So yeah, of course, they're just super happy to see me where I'm at and supporting me with any decision I make.
Brandon, as we look at your career, one of the things that stands out was that I was unaware of originally was that you actually started your career out at the Tijuana youth system. What do you think you learned there that you think separated you from the pack here in America?
Definitely, I don't know, my determination, I guess, to just be on the same routine every day to get better, because I was waking up at 5 a.m. to cross the border every day. I was living in San Diego with my parents still, so I was crossing the border every single day for 7 a.m. training sessions, and then crossing the border back into the U.S. to do school and then go to training again. So it was just like, it just taught me how to be on a tough routine, and it's obviously put me where I am today. So it took a lot of work and a lot of sacrifice, but yeah, I mean, it's paid off.
Talk about discipline and having to earn everything you have. I'm curious, you get a goal in your call-up, but you didn't get called into the next camp. What are the words that the dialogue between you and U.S. Soccer? What is Anthony Hudson, the interim manager, telling you need to do to keep getting called in?
Yeah, I had a conversation right before that second camp that I didn't get called into. He basically just affirmed to me that I was in a good position, that where I stood with the team, and he had told me that group was solely going to be European players. So yeah, he basically affirmed me that I had nothing to worry about not getting called into that camp.
Brandon, you just mentioned the European players. If you had to choose one team that you would dream of playing for in Europe, which team would it be?
Wow, that's a good question.
Like, don't tell me you weren't doing like FIFA, making your own character and putting that character on a team. What team were you putting that Brandon Vazquez on?
Before you answer this, think of the bag. You know what I mean?
For me, since I was younger, I had that Ronaldinho jersey in my closet. And you'll think I'm going to say Barcelona, but I'm actually going to say PSG. I had a PSG Ronaldinho jersey. And then Zlatan, when he was there, I was just a big fan of that team, watching him play. And now that team is just overpowered.
You speak French?
It's no, not at all.
Yeah, he's like, hola, ¿cómo estamos? Todo mundo bien.
That's what Duolingo's for. It's fine. Brandon, let's talk about FC Cincinnati, who are just off to a scorching start this season. They're on 24 points, even on points with New England, second in the standings. What's been the secret sauce this year for this club? What's working?
I think the work the players have been putting in every single training session, you can tell everybody's hungry to win something this year. The intensity, the quality of all the players has been outstanding. So I think that's put us where we're at today.
Brendan, real quick on the U.S. Open Cup, when you look at the season FC Cincinnati is having, it's right for a lot of fans to assume that MLS Cup is your top priority. Where do you think U.S. Open Cup sits, and is this something that FC Cincinnati wants to give it its all?
I think we want to give it our all on both. I think MLS Cup is still further out, but Open Cup is only, we feel, a couple a couple games away from being able to win a trophy. So we're definitely throwing everything we have at it.
Well, Brandon,